Hi, welcome back, my sixth graders. We're going to go through these problems, but because this is such a worthless lesson, to be quite frank with you, we are not going to be doing it the way the book says. I'm not going to teach you how to estimate something, especially when they're having you estimate it incorrectly. We're going to just go ahead and find what the actual number is using cross multiplication, like we did in class. So follow along with me. If you're one of those people that find all your answers online, you're going to be getting all the wrong answers. So better follow along. 74% of 63. If we have 74%, then we know it has to be over 100%. The minute it said of 63, we know 63 is on the bottom because the is on the top and the of is on the bottom. So we're looking for x. This means we're going to have 100x. That's 100 times x, 100x. And that has to equal 63 times 74. We use our calculator here. 63 times 74, that's 4,662. We realize to get x by itself, we're going to have to divide 100 away, which means we have to divide 100 away from this side. When we divide 100 away, realize we're just moving the decimal place over 2 spots, right? So this is going to be 46.62. All right, there's no estimating there. If you want to give an estimate, you would put a round up here and you would get about 47, right? So it says estimated percent. I would go ahead and put my answer, if I'm estimating, to 47. Okay, but the actual answer would be 46.62. I'm going to go ahead and go with either one of these answers when you turn it in. Let's go ahead and go with number 12. Number 12 says 34% of 55. Again, if I have 34%, it's going to be on the top over 100%. Of 55 tells me 55 is on the bottom, which means I'm looking for x. When I cross multiply, this is going to give me 34 times 55. That has to equal 100x. Let's go ahead and find out what 34 times 55 is. Well, that equals 1,870. When I divide by 100, I have to divide by 100 on the other side. This is going to move my decimal over 2 places, making this 18.7. Okay, if I add the estimate, I would round up and make it about 19. I know this curvy equal sign means about, right? Close to. So I guess over here I could have put that x was estimating close to 47. All right, let's go to number 14. It says 65% of 89 again. I'm going to take 65 and put it over 100 because these are my percents. And then it said of 89, I know the bottom of my second fraction. And I'm looking for x on top. This is going to give me 65 times 89. That has to equal 100 times x. When I solve this, I get 65 times 89. That's 5,785. 5,785. That has to equal 100x. And I divide 100 away from x. I'm dividing it away from 5,785. That's moving the decimal over 2 spots. So this is going to be 57.85 equals x. If I was to estimate this, I would round up, and this would be 58. All right, going down to number 16. There are about 320 million residents in the United States. If 38% of them live in the South, estimate how many live in other areas of the United States. Okay. If 38% of them live in the South, we have to estimate how many live in other areas of the United States. I would have to take 100% of the population and minus it from 38%. That's going to leave me with 62%. Now I'm looking for 62% of the population. If this is true, I know my 62% is going to go over 100%. And since there are 320 million residents, I can put 320 million over here. Or I can just remember that this is in millions. I'm trying to find out what percentage of that 320 million will be 62. This is going to set up the equation. 62 times 320. Let's remember this is million we're talking about. Has to equal 100 times x. When I take my calculator and I multiply 62 times 320, that's going to equal 19,840. That has to equal 100x. I know I got to divide 100 from both sides. That means I'll be taking my answer and moving the decimal over 2 spaces. That tells me that 19.84 and actually I take that back, that's going to be 198.4. Right? That equals x, so we're talking about 198.4 million. All right, let's go to number 18 now. All right, it says Roland has 180 coins in his collection. Approximately 67% of his coins are quarters. About how much money does Roland have in quarters? Okay, about how much does he have in quarters? Wow. All right, so we're trying to guess how many quarters he has. Okay. We know that he has 67% of his money, and he has 180 coins, right? So 67% out of 100%. That has to equal 180 is the total amount of coins. We're trying to find out how many are quarters. This sets up the equation 67 times 180 has to equal 100x. Well, 67 times 180 is equal to 12,060. That equals 100x. When I divide 100 away from 100x, I have to divide it from 12,060. That moves my decimal over two spaces. That means 12, 0, 120.6 is equal to 100x. Oh, I'm sorry, is equal to x. We're talking about 120 of his coins. We can round that up to 121. And now, if I have 121, how much money would that be? Well, we know a quarter, 4 quarters make $1, so we're going to have to divide 121 by 4, and then we'll know how many dollars we made. 4 goes into 12 3 times, leaving 1. So we're talking about maybe 3.2. So that would be $3.20. Is that right? No, it can't be right. 121. Oh no, if the 3 is there, we have to put a 0 there. Let me not forget that. That didn't make much sense to me for a second there. So that's going to be about 0 here because it doesn't go into 1. You have to put 1 here, and that'll be 0.2. So in actuality, it's more like about 30. So about $30. Okay. So how much money did he have? About 120 quarters, which makes $30. All right, let's go to number 20. There are 8,249 people registered to vote in the town of Mayfield. About how many people voted in the election? Remember, voter turnout reaches 74%. So when they ask how many people voted in the election, they're looking for the exact amount. Remember, there was 8,248 people, right, registered to vote. So we're looking for the amount out of that. We know that 74% out of 100% turned out. That's going to set up the equation 74 times 8,248. That has to equal 100 times x. Well, let me find out what 74 times, let's see, that's 8,248. I'm sorry, that should have been 49. I didn't see that. We're going to have to tweak this a little. Let's see, 49. So let's redo that again. So this is going to be 74 times 8,249. That's, wow, 45 million, wow, 45 million, 171. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I got 74 times 74. I thought this was kind of a big number. Let's do this one more time. 74 times 8,249. Much better. 610,000. 426. That has to equal 100x. When I divide by 100, I move my decimal over 2 spots. So this is going to be 6104.26 equals x. And that would mean about 6,104 people, okay, there's no such thing as 0.26 people, right? So I would say about 6,104 people, okay, voted in the election. All right, let's go to number, was I supposed to do 20? Yeah, I had all the even ones, so I guess I'm doing 22. Vanessa scored 78% on the test with 120 questions. 78% will go over 100%. The test only had 120 questions. What benchmark fraction could you use to estimate the number of questions that Vanessa answered correctly? Remember, she scored a 78%. So how many of those were there? Okay, so what benchmark fraction could I use? Well, whatever it will be over 120. This is going to give us 78%. 78 times 120 has to equal 100x. So we need to take 78 and multiply it to 120. That gives us 9,360. Equals 100x. When I divide by 100, means I'm going to move my decimal over 2 spaces. That means 93.6 is equal to x. If I'm going to round this up, since 6 is bigger than 5, I'll round it up to 4. So that'll be 94 is about x. So our answer, 94, okay, over 120. Okay, if a benchmark fraction be 94 over 120. We can't remember to reduce here. Both of these are divisible by 2. 94 divided by 2 would be, oh Lord, I want to say 45. Let's see, no, 47. Okay, and 120 divided by 2 would be 60. Okay, so it would be about, yeah, 47 over 60. All right, that's all the ones I'm doing. Good luck for all the rest of them that you are doing. And I'll see you in class to work on these later. Have a great night.